Legend speaks of the Ragnarok, the Twilight of the gods. Many places have their own tale of how it all ends, but none are like the prophecy the Vikings feared. In short, Ragnarok sees everything ripped to shreds, with just enough left for the world to begin anew. But, Spectators of Myth, there is one thing that is often forgotten in talk of this myth, and it is this. Ragnarok is not a tale of what has been, but a warning of what is to come. Here, we'll do our very best to tell you what to watch out for. A darkness was cast upon the Norse god Balder, a son of Odin. Nightmares he dreamed, horrible, torturing visions of his death. Odin convened a high council of the Asgardian elite to get to the bottom of the matter, but they could not discern what troubled Balder's sleep. The Allfather then knew the answer would not be found with the Aesir. He needed the future sight of a shaman, the Volva. But she, Spectators of Myth, was long dead. Odin saddled up Sleipnir, his magical eight-legged mare, and descended Yggdrasil. He rode down through the depths of the Nine Realms to Helheim, the land of the dead. Odin sought the grave of the Volva. He must know what terrible fate awaits Balder. The Allfather sang a spell to rouse the Volva from her eternal slumber. She did not wish to wake, but none can resist Odin's necromancy. Hiding his identity, Odin asked what would become of Balder. She told him Hodor, Balder's blind twin, would slay him. Odin probed further, asking who would avenge Balder. The Volva explained that Odin and the giantess Rinda would have a son named Vali. It was he who would end Hodor. Odin questioned the Volva further, but she now saw his true face. Irate, the Volva bade Odin return to Asgard. Before he did, she warned him that the time of the gods would soon be at an end, with their worlds torn asunder. And before he let her be, she uttered the name of the god behind this plot. That name was Loki. The demise of Balder, it seems, would spark the end of things. Odin knew Hodor would slay Balder, but, Spectators of Myth, the Allfather did not know the full story. Fortunately, the tomes do. The Norse god of mischief, and how he and his trickery would bring ruin to all. Loki of Jotunheim was not of Asgard or Odin's Aesir kin, yet he lived among them. Loki was a devious tactician, a giant with a penchant for trickery. The goddess Freya had all things swear an oath not to harm her son Balder, and the Aesir put this magic to a test. As they did, Loki, in the guise of a woman, asked Freya if there was anything that did not make the pledge. She said a fledgling plant called mistletoe had not. Freya believed it too young to be of concern. With that little nugget of information, Loki approached the blind one, Hodor. He was not testing Balder's invincibility due to his lack of sight, but Loki convinced Hodor to try with his help. He guided Hodor's hand to fire a mistletoe arrow at Balder. They let fly, and after it struck, Balder was no more. The gods mourned Balder, and after a time, hunted Loki. The chase took them to the world's end, where the trickster had turned into a salmon and was swimming for his life. His pursuers tried to catch him with a net, but they failed. Loki jumped from the water, and Thor caught Asgard's most wanted by the tail. As punishment, Loki was bound to 3 stones with the innards of his son. His other child was made a wolf. Above him was a snake dripping venom. His wife Sigyn stayed by his side and tried to catch the poison, but she was not always there. When the venom did land, Loki would rile so much he'd cause earthquakes. Yet, Loki wouldn't be bound forever. It is then said, the Fimbulwinter, a mighty frost, shall follow this and engulf us all for 3 successive seasons. This would be a time of scarce resources and zero hope, with no warmth from the sun. Billions will perish as wars are fought all in the name of survival. None would be safe, not even the Allfather himself. The gods, it seems, are fated for an onslaught against foes both old and new. The tomes tell us that next the sun would be eaten by a wolf, and the moon gobbled down by another beast. Next, the stars shall go dark as Fenrir terrorizes all the realms. Jormungandr, the world serpent, will escape the ocean and drown the world in water. The Naglfar, a ship made of toenails and fingernails, will ferry an army led by a giant to the fields of Vihir. Elsewhere, the fire giant Surtur and the sons of Muspel would ride hard on the Bifrost. It is said Surtur and his sword, the radiance of which shines brighter than the sun, would fracture the rainbow bridge that connects all realms. All would come to the fields of Vihir, and of course, this gathering of villains and monsters would not be complete without the god of mischief. When free from his bonds, it is said this Loki will watch the world be torn asunder.